This is Shauna at Light at Life Productions, and today I want to talk about Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson, eh? Well, hi Shauna. I'm a pretty big Manson fan. I've been listening since 1998, so I'm going on 2 decades as a fan of Manson and his work. It's made me the edgelord that I am today, and I'd love to talk with you about Manson. What aspect of his work would you like to discuss?
If it is not overwhelmingly obvious to you that he is a Satanist, you really do need to pay attention to this video because he is 100% full-blown Satanist, and he is working completely on behalf of his father, which is the father of all lies.
Well, Manson was given the official title of being a minister in the Church of Satan by Anton LaVey, the founder of LaVeyan Satanism. But LaVeyan Satanism doesn't really believe in a literal devil. LaVey's Satan is a metaphorical character that symbolizes man's animal nature and advocates that human beings don't neglect this nature. Read LaVey's 9 Satanic Statements or the 11 Satanic Rules of the Earth. You might find the philosophy a bit stark and unforgiving for your taste, but it's nothing to do with a literal Satan dwelling in hell and plotting the downfall of man or whatever. The only point of confusion might be LaVey's belief in the power of magic, which does somewhat, I admit, muddle the issue, but essentially what LaVey created was part religion, part social criticism, and part living performance art. Anton was a guy who wanted to dress spooky and get voluptuous naked women to writhe on altars for him, which, goddamn, who doesn't want that? He was a showman, and he lived his show. And as it pertains to Marilyn Manson, Manson respected LaVey as a showman and a philosopher, as seen in this clip with Manson speaking to Bill O'Reilly.
You're a minister in the Church of Satan, right?
No, not necessarily. That was something earlier. No. It was a friend of mine who's now dead, who was a philosopher that I thought that I learned a lot from, and that was a title that I was given. So a lot of people made a lot out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if you're a reverend in the Church of Satan,
I didn't get paid for it.
But why?
What Manson is saying there is that he's not really interested in the Church of Satan as an entity, at least not to the point where he wants to actually be involved in its operations. He had a personal fascination with Anton LaVey, and this fascination was able to blossom into a friendship. And it's not hard to see why Manson would be attracted to such a dark theatrical figure, since that's what Manson is too, a dark theatrical figure. But I'm sorry, I'm monopolizing the conversation. You were saying?
He just released a new music video teaser. And in that teaser, there is so much stuff going on. The first thing that comes to my mind when I looked at this video was a sense of lawlessness coming. So this teaser is, of course, completely blasphemous and just really is to be expected with Marilyn Manson.
And I'm sorry Shakespeare was your scapegoat and your apple is sticking into my throat. Sorry your Sunday smiles were rusty nails and your crucifixion commercials failed. That's a line from one of my favorite Manson songs, Target Audience, Narcissus Narcosis. And you should enjoy that line also because it's really about you. When he says, and I'm sorry that Shakespeare was your scapegoat, he's talking about how Christians like yourself blame art for titillating or even supposedly creating dark impulses within people. It's basically about how you guys ignore real problems and instead focus on the awful artist who's trying to point out what those problems are. Manson writes songs about the darker side of life, but he didn't create that darkness. He simply utilizes it as a tool to share with the world a sense of himself, who he is, what he represents, and what he believes. And when he says, sorry your Sunday smiles are rusty nails and your crucifixion commercials failed, think about that. Sunday smiles, like the smiles of a church crowd, the camaraderie of faith, belonging to that group. But to be part of that sea of smiles, you have to give up who you truly are and fight forever against the true desires of your heart. From Manson's perspective, when people reject Christianity and decide to instead be who they truly are, than they've rejected the crucifixion commercials, the broadcast message of all Christianity. Jesus died for you, so you fucking owe him. You owe him your life. You owe him your devotion. You owe him your autonomy. But until the day that you can serve him directly, you could serve us, the church. And by the way, this idea of a group making you surrender your own identity applies to way more ideologies than just Christianity. But we're limiting ourselves to that here since you, Shauna, are a Christian and you're seeing Marilyn Manson from a Christian perspective.
It does appear like he's taking it up a notch by showing Trump, what it looks like Trump being beheaded, and which is telling. It could be very symbolic for the persecution of Christians and just bringing out this ideology completely.
Well, that's a pretty obtuse view of the symbolism here. I can't pretend for a second that I fully understand the intentions behind Manson's Trump beheading, but if I had to venture my best guess, I would draw your attention to something that Manson told Salon all the way back in 2000. I think music and all art really flourishes and becomes much more exciting under a conservative president because there's a need to react against limitations. If it's right-wing, it just instantly makes me want to push the envelope more. Now, this Say 10 preview video came out on Election Day, so there's no way Manson could have known that Trump was going to win. But let's take a look at Manson's statement from the day before the video was released. Either way tomorrow goes, the visuals are meant to create contemplation because it's obviously bigger than just tomorrow. It's about the desperate acts of people who believe something that is preached by an unbeliever. Right now, we're in such a state of confusion when it comes to religion, politics, sexuality, and how they all tie together. And it's being turned into a circus and a sideshow. And that's something that I've been described as being the ringleader of. It seems like a time for me as an artist and as an American artist to make something that causes a new set of questions to arise that aren't simply statements. So Manson has a somewhat strange way of communicating his ideas, so let me sort of try to translate. The Trump beheading is not about making a statement. Manson isn't saying something as simple as Trump is bad, or Christianity is bad, or America is bad. What he's doing is inviting you to look at all the juxtaposing elements of the visuals and lyrics and atmosphere of Say 10 and hopefully explore your own thoughts and feelings about it. What does the thought of a beheaded Trump stir in you? Maybe to some it's cathartic, maybe to others it's offensive, or maybe it makes you angry or sad or you feel like it's exploitative. Manson doesn't really care what your reaction is so long as you have one. The only thing he doesn't want is for what he does to be forgettable and sterile like the rest of the media. Basically, Shauna, what Manson is trying to get you to do is actually think. And in your case, it's pretty obvious he's wasting his fucking time. Now, if you want to know my personal reaction, honestly, I just think it looks cool. I don't find it to be a profound statement or even a profound question. I just think it's a powerful visual, and it gives me a giddy little thrill. To see a powerful person beheaded, it feels like the French Revolution. I like it.
I want to talk about the lyrics a little bit. He says, you say God, and I say 10. And obviously, he means Satan.
I'm sorry, Satan? Satan? What is this, fucking Vegeta, Kakarot, what? No, I think he means Satan. There's a big ol' hard T right in the middle of there. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, Satan. You seem to be missing that. Just letting you know it's there. That's why it's right there in the middle of the fucking word. S-A-T-A-N. It's not Satan. Stupid fuck.
I mean, come on, guys. I honestly don't know why he chose to put Say 10. Maybe to confuse people and to have them believe, oh, he's not talking about Satan. No. He's saying Satan. That must be a code or something like that.
Yeah, literally no one could ever make that mistake. Manson is not sitting around thinking, gosh, I want to glorify the Dark Lord, but if I call my album Satan, then people will be confused. Instead, I'll say 10, No one will ever figure out what that means. What? What? Why did he use Say 10? Well, because it's his 10th studio album. It's just him having a little fun. It's not meant, at least as far as I know, to be too deep or poignant or anything. Just, hey, it's my 10th album and I'm still the villain, so Say 10. No one is even the least bit confused about what Say 10 means.
So I did just want to make this quick video to let you know that this is another celebrity using his influence to push the masses into revolt and lawlessness. So please pray. That's really where I want to leave it today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and watch my videos. God bless.
Well, Shauna, I hate to say it, but I'm a bit disappointed in our conversation. You said very little, and what little you said had all the substance of a plume of smoke. You talked in an annoying upward inflection the entire time. You did no research. You made no compelling arguments. Your audio edits were atrocious, and I can't think of a single thing you said that was even the least bit insightful. I was great, though, and really, I guess that's all that matters. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out.
You're going to hell. You're going
to hell!